It's hard to follow Father Samuel's words. In the words of Anne Frank, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Not a single moment. Good morning, and thank you for your gracious welcome. Before I launch out into the deep here, I have one disclaimer and one apology. My disclaimer, every Sinsinawa Dominican sister, by virtue of her vows, her profession, dedicates her life to a life of service. So please know, when you honor my name, you honor every Sinsinawa Dominican sister. We stand together on each other's shoulders, especially those sisters who served at Trinity High School. Second, a bit of an apology to Mrs. Mary Gail Harrington. We've known each other for several years through a number of Trinity alum events. So please hold on to that fact and pair it with the information that every Tuesday morning since last October, a number of our sisters and associates gather on a busy street adjacent to our Edgewood schools in Madison, Wisconsin, where I live. We meet in a silent prayer vigil, holding signs proclaiming ceasefire, end war through nonviolence, not bombs, etc. So given that information, one blustery December morning, as we were standing in silent prayer, amidst the noisy traffic holding our placards, my phone rang, and I looked to see Mary Gail Harrington was calling. And I thought, she must be looking for my annual donation, small as it is. So I confess, I ignored the phone call. And a bit later, she called again, and I thought, wow, she is really getting desperate for our fabulous class of 1963, AKA first class, to make the donation quota. Later that day, we actually connected, and I must apologize. She was not looking for a donation, at least not that time, but inviting me to the celebration of distinguished alumni on International Women's Day, one of my favorites. Kind of ironic. We were women standing in prayer, protesting war, looking to encourage a life of nonviolence, a moment of contemporary service. A few moments ago, I referred to our self-proclaimed and oh so deserving class of 1963 as first class. Let me explain that moniker. We were the first class, 1963, way back then, to walk across this very stage to receive our Trinity diplomas. We were the first class to sing out a choral concert from this stage, the first to mount a production on this very stage. It was a musical adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. I think Sister Angel must have chosen that. And I was on the lighting crew, and for some unknown reason, I even climbed way up there into the catwalks when you could access them a little bit more. That was a first and a last adventure. We were the first class to fly to Washington, D.C. for our senior trip, and on, first class. Our 1963 class is filled with generous, enterprising women who have contributed extensively to Trinity and to our global society, and some are here this morning. In fact, we will take some credit for the remodeling of this lovely auditorium. When our 50th reunion committee met, lesson to self, always participate in committees. They're so much fun. And often the real reunion moments. Anyway, when the committee saw the condition of this room, particularly of the chairs, we plunged in our usual way and worked with the administration to begin to renovate the Aud, particularly the chairs. Eventually, with other classes and donors, the project expanded into an entire renovation. Look around you at the nameplates, especially over there in that area. You should see a few rows of the class of 1963 members. See if you can find them. When you sit in any of these chairs throughout the auditorium, please, each and every time, make it a practice to touch the nameplate, read the name, send them energy, and ask for theirs. Pray for them as they pray for you. We were the young women of the 1960s. On the historic day of John F. Kennedy's presidential inauguration, somehow the sisters and teachers arranged for televisions in classrooms to broadcast Kennedy's inauguration. Mind you, it was in black and white with those impossible rabbit ear antenna things. This event and our witness to it was huge. We heard President Kennedy's most famous words, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. We heard those words live. And the Peace Corps was born and so many other service programs. And we took that mandate of service to heart. The call to service in grand or seemingly insignificant acts runs in our blood and yours. One of the most significant life lessons I learned here in class, one that I take with me, is very simple. Really just one word: read, read, read. But most of all, read books that challenge and terrify you. Terrify you, not terrorize you. I remember being in a class and reading the book called Night by Elie Wiesel. I don't know if any of you have read it. It's about a young man's experiences during World War II, living in the horrifying concentration camps of Auschwitz and Buchenwald. Later, I was able to visit Dachau, a similar concentration camp outside Munich, Germany, a profound experience. Like many others, the memory of reading Night was transformative. What are you reading today that challenges your very core? Look for women's biographies, follow their life stories to discover the passions that motivate them and inspire you. How do they incorporate service into their lives? You don't have to agree with people to be inspired by their courage and service among us. I think of Representative Elizabeth Cheney. Read her recently published book, Oath and Honor. You are the recipients of a grand legacy of music and the arts here at Trinity. The sisters instilled that in the foundation of the school. While scrolling through your Trinity Facebook pages, I often enjoy examples of that legacy. Share it and savor it. How about exploring the lives of climate advocates like the fearless young Swedish climate activist Greta Thunberg, or be inspired by the life of Sister Norma, a Catholic sister of the Missionaries of Jesus, who advocates tirelessly for the immigrants and refugees of McAllen, Texas. This International Women's Day, we could chat all day about the inspiring women you are going to discover as your mentors, but I will leave that to your explorations. Finally, I acquired this small pin proclaiming Women's History Month while I was teaching American history during the 1980s. That's a very long time ago. Each year I bring it out and I wear it proudly during Women's History Month, during the month of March, as a reminder to explore the diversity and richness of other women new to me every month of the year. Now, more than ever, we need your civic engagement, your truth-telling, your courageous service, especially during this election year. We count on you. As Anne Frank, in the Diary of Anne Frank, teaches us how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. We count on you as faith-filled Dominican women of Trinity High School to not wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. Thank you. Welcome.